Hello my beautiful people, welcome to your weekly general taroscope with me, Raphael from Radiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. Quick note, so these readings are for everybody. These are for the general energies, trends and themes that we're likely to experience over the course of the week. Sometimes I talk about world events. Sometimes I talk about just us on the microcosmic level at that sort of very general overview kind of level, and all of this is under the guise of my intuitive message. So before we start, as always, I would like to bless all of my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise, and they help us all on our paths to our highest vibrational good. So this week, for our intuitive message, as I went into my intuition, what I actually saw was a metal pyramid, right? It was all made of metal, but it was like a dark sort of grey steel even. And what I could see at each one of those was different words. I won't talk about what the words are because I don't feel like they're relevant, and I feel like those were almost like a guide really to show what the actual message was, right? And what then came to mind was the Temperance card. And for me, Temperance is all about, yes, it's about balance, but it's also about finding the perfect blend of things. And so this week, the message is, check your measurements. Whatever it is that you're trying to do, whatever it is that you're trying to create, whatever it is that you're trying to manifest this week, it's not so much that your results aren't assured even, let's say. It's more a case of you need to check the elements, right? So in order to, I don't know, in order to bake a cake, right, you have to use a certain amount of elements. You have to use a certain balance of certain elements. This is how a friend described something to me not too long ago, which made total sense, and it makes sense here. So if you put, way too much butter, you're going to get one type of cake. If you put way too much eggs, you're going to get another type of cake. This week, whatever it is that you're trying to manifest, if you're having trouble with it or you haven't been able to fully get it to where it's supposed to be as yet, it's because the elements are unbalanced. This week you really do need to find, like, when you think of a pyramid, when you think of that they're all about measurements, right? These are things that are very precise. When you look at the pyramids in Egypt, it's all very precise stuff. So this week it really is like, the message is, yes, check your measurements, right? The amount of something that you're putting in. Where is it off scale, off kilter? Where do the numbers not add up? But what is this energy also about? It's about precision, right? So this week you have to get precise. You have to get specific. This is one of those weeks where if if you're a bit iffy on what it is that you want, or the efforts that you put in are half-assed, that's what you're getting out this week, right? So we're all being asked to check the measurements, to be precise, to be specific. This is a week to really hone things down to the pure element of everything that you're trying to do. This is the week where we tighten it all up, right? So for our destiny card, we have the Emperor, right? So in a lot of ways, the Emperor is a very precise card. It's a very precise energy, right? Because it's all about rules, regulations, but it's when we talk about rules and regulations, it's not the Hierophant rules and regulations. This is where they're enforced. This is where things are held in place. Gravity would come under the element of the Emperor. Why? Because it's exact, right? There's no room for interpretation. Apart from, things like rockets and all the rest of it, like, even dancers, what do they call them? Free runners, people that do parkour, all of that stuff. Yes, they're amazing at bending themselves around gravity, but nothing escapes it. The Emperor card is a very precise, but it's also a very exact kind of energy, and it's a very strong energy. Mars, interestingly enough, because this card is ruled by Aries, but it has a link to Mars for that reason, is in the sign of Capricorn, where it is exalted. So you might find this week that you have a need for clear lines. You might find this week that that energy within you is saying, no, this isn't good enough. It's not about perfectionism. It's not about demanding the impossible. It's about doing the very best or the very most of what is possible to you at any given moment in time. The other thing with the Emperor, this suggests that something to do with the legal forces and or establishments and institutions are likely to start kind of coming forward, maybe easing up, or it may be a case that there's some sort of inner dissent. It wouldn't surprise me if this week we hear that we've got a lot of political parties fighting amongst themselves this week, but I feel like we're going to start to see more of this on the ground, right? So the people that enforce the rules that the lawmakers make, those people, I think we're going to start to see a little bit of, maybe not necessarily infighting or civil war, but there's definitely going to be some conversations had where there are differing opinions. For our direction cards, how do we best tap into the energy of the Emperor? We've got the Four of Pentacles. What do we see there? We've got the Ten of Pentacles. Nice. And we've got the Page of Cups, right? So this is a time where, the first thing first, the Emperor is number 4. The Four of Pentacles is also 4. 2 4s represents insomnia. We've got this with the Ten of Pentacles. This is going to be something with the banking or the financial institutions is going to be very much on everybody's tongues this week. And with that Page of Cups, honestly, that could be some sort of creative accounting, but it could just as easily be something that is revealed or reviewed, something that's brought into the public eye when it comes to the higher ups, how money is spent, how money is used, all of that kind of thing. Now, on a more microcosmic level, how might we tap into this? Well, with the Four of Pentacles, yeah, this basically suggests that investing more time in the things that are going to relax you and assist you to having good rest and recuperation is vital this week, because it is the Four of Pentacles. This, on a personal level, is about your finances and your resources. But you add to this the Ten of Pentacles, and suddenly we start to be talking about homes, right? Homes, the prices of homes, finances, resources, mortgages, loans, all of those kinds of things are highly favored this week. You got this with the Page of Cups though, and that almost suggests, like, I like the Page of Cups, I really do. It's a very beautiful, intuitive, creative energy, but here, just because of the interaction of the cards, there's something about this that feels quite nebulous to me. It almost feels like we're not really getting the full picture just yet when it comes to money, finances, resources, banking. If there is anything that you have to sign to do with your home, to do with a mortgage, to do with some sort of big finance in your life, this would be a week to exercise some form of caution. Now, the beneficial side of this is if you can create a solid plan, one that you know is going to absolutely have the results that you want. If you initiate it this week, there is a chance that you could see this through to completion, and that could be pretty exciting. For our insight cards, what might be going on behind the scenes, or what might we need to be aware of? We have the Five of Wands with the Nine of Wands, okay, and the Devil card, right? So one thing that I will say to you this week, it's really, really important that you choose your allies carefully, right? The other thing is as well, remember that infighting or that sort of dissent that's going on within something? I feel like this is going to reach a fever pitch over the course of this week. So I find that really interesting as well. Now, the Five of Wands with the Nine of Wands, that suggests, and I know we've got this whole thing going on with Russia and, you know, all of that sort of stuff. If I'm completely honest with you, I feel like it's going to go to the brink, but not necessarily, you know, get to where it's supposed to be. And I feel like a big part of that is because the people that are going to have to do all of this, there's going to be too much almost infighting amongst themselves. Now, on a personal level, like I was saying, this week you've got to choose your allies wisely. And this isn't the same as, oh, well, you know, I chose them because they were the only people left, or they were the only people that came close to what I wanted to do or what I needed to do or the way that I see things. That's not going to cut it this week, right? When we're talking about specificity and precision, we're talking about things being exact. This kind of speaks to that, Page of Cups energy, which is, like I said, it's a bit nebulous. This is not a week to align yourself with someone because they kind of resonate with what you believe or what you think. They either do or they do not. You guys know me. I'm not in for anything that is divisive by its very nature. It's one of the reasons I never talk politics. It's one of the reasons I very rarely talk religion. You know, because those things are, they're built, unfortunately, to divide people, and I'm not interested in those things. However, this week with the Inisght triplet, you don't have, I can't tell anybody what they do or don't have. What I will say though is the energy suggests that this is not a week to be in for or with anyone that is on the fence about something or kind of resonates, but you know, well, it was the best of a bad bunch. That's not going to cut it this week. And if you get into that kind of energy this week, it's going to make things a lot murkier later on. And whatever we tie ourselves to or with through the devil usually ends up, I remember reading this once, I think I was about 15, 16, and I can't remember where it was, but it was, the line was, anything that you can abuse will abuse you worse than you can abuse it. And this devil card really, really feels like that to me, especially because it's on the 9 of Wands. Now, another way that this could play out as well, unfortunately with that triplet, it can be maybe some sort of war, it could be some sort of riot, it could be some sort of you know, clash on the wider world stage that we're all going to hear about. On a more microcosmic level or on a more personal level, this really is about choosing, not even choosing your battles wisely, choosing the people that you would go into battle with or for. You need to choose those allies very, very wisely this week and ask yourself, is this really worth me getting into? That being said, you know, not all easy messages this week. In fact, no real easy messages this week. But I wish you all an abundance of all of that good stuff. Let me know in the comments how it shapes up, what you think, what you feel. Take care, and I'll see you soon.